Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host, Ainsley Brown. In today's episode, we're going to talk about ESG and special economic zones, but specifically ESG being E-ESG. Now, ESG has been in vogue of late. That is environment, social, and governance. And it's a movement where you could say that it is, enlightened capitalism or enlightened investors or stakeholder capitalism. There's different names that are used, but it's a big deal because with $37.8 trillion of assets under management currently, and with projection in 2025 that of that moving to 53 trillion, it's a big deal, right? But something about ESG always just struck me as being off, and that's the profit side. And the reason why that might sound, but why would they bring that in, or isn't that obvious? Yes, it is that obvious, but when you think about it, before ESG, they used to talk about sustainability, and for something to be sustainable, it has to follow the triple bottom line, people, planet, profits, right? So profits was always there, but then with ESG, you don't hear about the profits, and that's almost taken for granted. Like that's a natural thing that a business would do anyway. So we don't really need to mention that. But I think that's the wrong approach. I think the better approach is to bring it up front and say it, ESG, because protecting the environment, it shouldn't just be that a company is doing profits, right? Um, E S E E S G. So profits, environment, social, and governance. Those should all be part of a natural part of what a company does. Um, now, and especially within a special economic zone, which is a specific geographic area with special rules and special incentives attached to it. Um, EESG should be really at the top of you know their agendas, and it's not you do one and then you do the other and then you do the other. That's not how this works. It is whatever you do, all of them are present. All of them is present. So, for example, a company that is into bottling water has a natural interest in seeing the environment protected. It wants to see that the particularly, if you want to say selfishly, the area in which it draws water from, that those aquifers, that river, that spring, is the environment around it is kept clean and kept pollution free, because if it's not, it will be out of business. So planting trees, ensuring that the area is protected, kept clean, working with local people to do certain sustainable type of agricultural processes, that's all in their self-interest, but it's in the interest of the planet, it's in the interest of the people, it's in the interest of the government from a governance standpoint, because the company is looking out for that area, right? All of them align. So I'm putting forward, maybe going out on a little bit of a limb, that ESG is really EESG. So the E part is economic. There has to be profits there, or else it doesn't balance out under what you used to call what we call sustainability, the triple bottom line. You had profits there. You had to have things balanced out. You have to have the profits. You have to have the people. You have to have the environment. And now with ESG, you have the governance, which functions within that. And sometimes there is challenges, because people may say, okay, so how do you do each one of these elements? Profits, of course, people, you can that's easy. It's a business. You're designed to make profit. So there is that. You may say environment. Well, how does make how does making your money align with protecting the environment? That's what you need to be thinking. How do I and planting trees is just one example. You could be doing using renewable energy to reduce your carbon footprint, as an example. right? And again, these are not mutually exclusive. You can do all of them depending on what you want to do. Social, how do you interact with your employees? As simple as that. Do you have things, policies around gender equity, around um, paternal leave? Uh, do you have certain policies beyond what the law says? Because then that bleeds into the governance side of things. Um, do you what are your policies in relation to the surrounding environment, the people that are coming from the surrounding environment? Do you have policies that you draw from, or try to make accommodation for the people that are from disadvantaged communities, or from um, disabled community, right? That's a social examples of the social aspect and how that can be integrated, particularly in a zone regime, or zone, actually, not just the regime but the zone itself. And then you have the governance side of things. For me, the governance is the simplest and the easiest one to do. Are you following the law? Are you paying your taxes in full and on time, right? How are you running your company? Are you running your company with a design for environmental protection? Again, showing how things are connected and going above and beyond what the law says. You are speaking about gender equality. How much of your managerial ranks are there women? Have you created pathways for women to be promoted, or people with disabilities to be promoted through your company? These are things that need to be thought about, and policies and procedures put in place for EESG, that is economic, environment, social, and governance to function. So if you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have a comment or have a question for me, just leave your comment right down below, your question down below. And if you have a suggestion for a future episode, just let me know and I'll get right back to you.